Lithuania has declared more than 1,000 citizens of Russia and Belarus living in the country to be threats to national security and said it is stripping them of their permanent residency permits.
Here's a summary of the article.
Lithuania has declared more than 1,000 citizens of Russia and Belarus living in the country to be threats to national security and said it is stripping them of their permanent residency permits. August 4, 2023, 10:59 a.m. Vilnius, Lithuania. Lithuania declared more than 1,000 citizens of Russia and Belarus living in the country to be threats to national security on Friday and said it was stripping them of their permanent residency permits. The decision comes after the government asked the Russians and Belarusians to answer a questionnaire that included questions about their views on Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the status of Crimea, the Ukrainian territory which Russia illegally annexed in 2014. Lithuania, a Baltic nation that declared its independence from the Soviet Union more than 30 years ago, is a democracy that belongs to NATO and the European Union. The Migration Department said Friday that it had established that 1,164 Belarusian and Russian citizens residing in Lithuania posed a threat to national security, a decision that was based on an evaluation of public and non-public information. Those deemed to be national security threats are only a fraction of the Belarusians and Russians living in Lithuania. According to the Migration Department, more than 58,000 Belarusian citizens and 16,000 Russian citizens are currently residing in Lithuania.
This post received a score of 24,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Russia has constantly been using to protect Russian-speaking citizens as a means of invading various countries. Now countries are just like, okay, so we can't let Russians be here, gotcha. So now that countries are doing that, can they really act surprised?
Russian patriots are assisted with repatriation to help their motherland during a war.
I mean, Putin is scrambling for troops to put on the front lines. This will only help him like that as cannon fodder. Never thought I'd feel sorry for a Russian lols.
It's fine to say bad things about Russia the country while they're committing war crimes, but the idea that feeling sympathy for a single Russian person is unexpected is a step too far in terms of forgetting that no country is made up of a single personality. Hopefully someday the Russians who do deserve sympathy for the shithole their country currently is will be the ones in charge instead, and they'll get the chance to evolve Russia into something better than pathetic Putin's palace of pain.
Plus the brave Russians who openly protested Putin and got sent to jail, had their children taken away, have way bigger balls than any of us combined. I hope Ukrainians remember those few who truly stuck their necks out too. Even with a piece of blank white cardboard, with no message.
Because of the implication, I couldn't resist. Jokes aside, though, fuck the Russian regime.
Seems like this would be similar to taking your green card away in the US.
Which is insane tbh. If Mexico had historically used domestic Mexican descendants or expats as a justification to invade countries, US would absolutely do the same thing to Mexicans in US.
Ironically, this is what the US did to Mexico about 180 years ago, and if Mexico had had the capability of winning a war against the US, they would likely have used the same pretext to reclaim those territories. During the First World War, Germany actually offered Mexico an agreement to help them reclaim the regions of the US that still had Mexican populations and cultural history if they would attack the United States. More recent comparable examples might be the disenfranchisement of Japanese Americans during the Second World War, as well as the suspension of visa rights to people from a number of Muslim-majority countries under the pretext of national security during the Trump years. Such actions were also quite common in the years between the world wars in Europe, until the massive population displacements of the Second War and subsequent redrawing of borders and internationally sanctioned ethnic cleansing, which led to European nations in Eastern Europe having almost completely ethnically homogeneous borders for the first time.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.